Go ahead. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers. How you all doing today? And this is my second bout for this morning with the Breakfast Lounge. I'm live on Facebook. My first guest this morning was MP Grisha Heiliger Martin. And the reason why I am live on Facebook is like you probably realize or notice that I'm not on the air this morning. So we decided that we're going to work with the interviews that I have and go live on their Facebook pages. GEBE again is experiencing some technical difficulties that we've come to realize that we thought actually that that problem would have been resolved by yesterday, but unfortunately that's not the case. So the station is still off the air. So we're going to go live on Facebook here with MP Tonjubuan Camper. He's the deputy leader of the Now Party, also the number 2 candidate. MP, good morning, and thank you for inviting me on your Facebook page, if I may say so.
You're more than welcome, Grace. It's unfortunate Jimmy's off because I would have loved to speak on air so the seniors could hear me because not all seniors are on Facebook.
Correct.
This morning in the Herald, there's an article, and the article is naturally as biased as they can come.
Yeah.
Candidates with criminal records eligible for elections, but may face suspension post-victory.
Seems to be that it's directed towards you, MP.
Directly.
Your ongoing case.
Even Christopher, who's under investigation, and Rolando Bryson, who's under investigation, because they will have to eventually have their court cases. So for me, it's this. When I was suspended, I wrote to Parliament and I said, please use the Article 6 and 8 of the International Covenant of Civic and Political Rights. You cannot suspend me while I'm fighting an investigation. And yes, our Constitution says so, but an international treaty trumps the Constitution. It trumps it. The leader of the UP said, indeed, it is wrong. But we're not going to fix it for politicians first. We got to deal with the charter and all those other things. So here I go and I postulate myself for this election. Nobody said anything about I will be suspended or I can be suspended. To hocus pocus an article one day before election. And when you read the article, they are talking about laws in in Europe, Article 50. I never brought up Article 50. I brought up the International Covenant of Civil and Political Rights that clearly state once I am elected, I cannot be suspended while I am fighting my case. This has nothing to do about, double jeopardy. No. It has to do that you are trying to punish me for something that I have already been punished for. That's what I said. The name of the chairlady is being used in the article. So I send the chairlady a WhatsApp to ask her to please confirm that what was said in that article is true.
Right. Okay.
Or false. I haven't gotten that answer yet. But I'll tell you this much. She said, though, in the article that it is not their purview and it's a delicate matter and all kind of things. She did not say, I cannot take my seat. She didn't say that. So the Herald was very wisely in their sleazy journalism to put the word but. But may. But this. Your butt is what you sit on. That's what it is. Because this is not the first time. Yesterday, it was pre-clearance. That pre-clearance ain't coming. A fabricated story. Because 2 years ago, that identical story was written in 2022. So why is it? What is it that have them frightened of the now? Nation opportunity for wealth. That we want to give the locals an opportunity to become wealthy? That's what you're afraid of? Because this is a joke. Again, if I couldn't run, I wouldn't have run. If I couldn't take a seat, they wouldn't have let me on. Because now is a separation of powers. Now suddenly the Constitution says something else than the Electoral Council's regulations to show you they're not even in sync. That's what they're trying to say.
Why are they pushing to get you out of office?
Because they're dead scared of me.
Really?
Because I'm not afraid of them and I know the organizations. I know how government functions. So I can call them out. I'm going to do that this morning, starting with this letter. On the 8th of January, dear civil servants, as the Prime Minister and Minister of General Affairs charged with personnel affairs, I wish to inform the civil servants of the government of St. Martin about a breakthrough in ongoing talks between the union negotiation team, the UNT, and the government negotiating team, GNT. A crucial agreement was reached between the Ministry of General Affairs and a committee of Civil Servants Union, CCSU, making considerable progress in achieving a mutual understanding where it pertains to employee benefits. First key agreement was the COLA indexation. After some 10 years, a principal agreement was made regarding the indexation of civil servants' salaries starting in 2024. Remember, they said since 2011, 2012, there was no indexation. And I'm going to come to that just now. Because they gave a lump sum in 2023. And they said the government will apply a 2% indexation in 2024 and 2025, and a 2.5% increase in 2026 to usher in this structured disbursement plan. To show the government's commitment to these agreements, legislation is being finalized. Word here being, not is. Tomfoolery at its best. Why? Because these articles in the law state that you must change the law to do this. But you won't change the law yet. It's the same like the SAHA, the Healthcare Act. You won't change that. So it can't go into effect. You didn't change it. So nobody at the end of January look for no 2% on your salary because it ain't there. This is why you get these type of articles in the Herald. Because they're right for the government. Is the government has all the pages that they put their ads on. That's what it is. No more, no less. The article doesn't say Bun Camper cannot take his seat. Doesn't say that. You know why? Because they know it ain't so. So they said may, but, all kind of nonsense. This is the problem with this government. And when the media that should be independent becomes dependent of the government, you have no more democracy. You have tomfoolery at its best. This is what's going on. I asked the chair lady to please answer me because it's a joke. It's a complete joke now. This article is written as if there was an interview after the interview. That's what I find so funny. But again, I'm not going to judge nobody.
You did say that you contacted the chair lady, though.
I sent her a WhatsApp asking her to verify if what's
right.
written there, she stated. Because the Daily Herald is known to state things that were not stated nor verified. And then when they come back, because they did that last time, they said we were paying for something instead of we were presenting something in our manifestos and so. And then they come back on page 3 or page 5 with a tiny little rectification and say, oops, we made a mistake. It was this we meant and not this. And the same thing will happen here. They will come with a rectification last on page 5 or 7, but then the damage has been done because you put it front page, like you did yesterday with the whole pre-clearance. You put it on front page, and when the blows start to fall, everybody starts to scramble. But this is the problem I have, especially when you got one newspaper.
Can we really manage pre-clearance, though, MP?
I think
Can
so.
we manage that?
I really think so.
It's quite a costly project, though.
Yes, but it's paid for by the tourists.
Right.
Because they're the ones using the service, so they're going to pay for the service. I don't see that being a big issue, to be very honest with you.
The housing of the immigration officers and what have you. I mean, the the cost actually falls on our government, though.
Correct. We pay for everything. We even pay
Okay.
for their schooling. They get the diplomatic passports like the World Bank. The World Bank actually paved the way for this to easier work because we are
Right.
dealing with the World Bank employees now. They don't even pay taxes here either. So the immigration officers will not be paying taxes here. They'll pay them in America where they're from.
Okay. So with that said, now seeing that we're already basically on the final stages of completing the airport, where shouldn't the provisions have been already made if we were heading in that direction? Basically, because that's an entire different. You need a whole different
hall. You need a hall.
You
A
need
separate hall.
a separate hall for that.
When you check through,
Right, I see the
you
one.
go in there.
Yeah, I've been to the
Aruba
one.
has it.
I've been
Exactly.
to the one in Aruba.
And the one in
yeah.
Aruba doesn't carry our immigration.
No.
Carries the American immigration.
Right,
So,
right.
it's a little different, Grace. But in 2016, the master plan included the pre-clearance already.
Right.
So it was part of it. So while we are redoing this and rebuilding the airport, basically with a few amendments and upgrades here and there, the location for pre-clearance was always known. So I want to believe that it is okay. I hear a lot of things starting to beep here. I don't know if I get
No. No, I think that's out on the street.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just heard something very interesting, though, MP from the MP, Heiliger Martin, who actually said that the airport contractors are owed like $300,000. Do you have any anything on that?
No, I haven't heard that.
They have not received any payment?
Again, between Ballasnedam and the local contractors, it just simply makes me think once again on Mayor and the local contractors
Okay.
that were owed hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they were not able to be paid until the settlement came. And
Right.
at least TLM told the judge, listen, we want to hold on to money to pay the local contractors, and then the balance goes to Mayor. I don't know how that panned out, but I know when I spoke to the managing director of TLM, that was their intention, to at
Right.
least pay off the local people, and I think they were paid. I haven't heard that they were not paid. I think they were paid, and that had to do with the TLM management
Right.
stepping in to protect them.
Okay, let's get back to this front page article here, where candidates with criminal records, which in your opinion, and of course, is directed at you personally. You're trying to
Yes.
clear that up now.
Yes.
But this could hurt your chances of getting elected.
No.
On the day before election,
Well,
this is when
listen,
it takes the paper.
timing, they always say
Right.
timing is critical in everything. But you see, the Daily Herald's credibility isn't all that anymore. I have
questioned.
said that on numerous occasions. They write stories because of whatever reason. Look, was it a discussion the first time around? Yes, it was. When I postulated myself, I was not, let me state it again, I was not convicted. They were not even allowed to even prosecute me. The prosecution came in May. I was elected in January. 4 months later, they said we're going to prosecute him for the landfill. So after that, I was
You
hearing
heard it,
something.
you heard it, yeah.
After the prosecution started, we went over into the case, and then I was convicted for the crimes I allegedly committed.
Right.
They used the Constitution at that moment to suspend me. I wrote to Parliament and I said, these laws don't allow you all to suspend me because these are international treaties that we are signatory to.
Correct.
They agreed to that. But instead of the Parliament taking a position, they sent on my letter and my request to the Council of Advice. The Council of Advice respectfully answered Parliament and said, we don't deal with personal issues of individual cases. If Parliament wants a position, Parliament should act for such.
Right.
Parliament never did. The leader, the man that says he makes all the laws and studies all the laws, came out and said, indeed, the Constitution is no good because it's trampling on people's laws.
Correct.
Remember, I am not appointed, I'm elected by the public of St. Martin. So you're going to tell me now that suddenly now, one day before elections, the purview of the Electoral Council is to just check the people on the list to see if they were born here and this. But criminal records are not checked. So we're going to have the tomfoolery to fool the public of St. Martin that will go out and elect Bontempo come January 11th. Oh, but yeah, he might not be able to take his seat. That is a damn shame if that was how they planned this. Because I'm deeply disappointed in the people of the Electoral Council if that was their intention. Because if they knew I couldn't take my seat, they should have told the leader of the party, the good gentleman will be suspended because of whatever. Put it in writing.
Right.
You send back and say, the list is not good for this and for that, but you don't say that I can't run and I can't take my seat. And then one day before election, they want to come out with an article on the front page and you will tell me you're not here to sabotage the elections. You're not here to sabotage the No Party because we are the party to beat. We have the government on the run. We are hitting them the 1-2 punch every minute, putting them back on their backside. That's what this is about. Listen carefully, again, I'm going to say it again. I have a law team ready. We will challenge any suspension in court. I want the judges that use the international treaties for human rights and for all kind of things to trump our constitution and our law to tell me I can't take my seat. Because that's the only ones I can believe. And even there sometimes I hold my breath. But at least this one, they'll have to trample on an international treaty, which I don't believe they will do. But again, typical. This is what we are faced with one day before. Will I be deterred? Absolutely not. Will my voters be scared away? No. Like how they say, the bunk screw is here to stay. They're going to elect me. I am going to win. And you're going to meet me in Parliament. But this time, you're going to meet me as government while you sit across me as opposition. That's the big difference.
All right. I want to take the second half of this interview live on 102.7 on the Breakfast Lounge. So for you Facebook viewers, we're going to go into the studio now, and then we're going to set up and take to part 2, where we're going to talk about the Voting Bureau trying to facilitate the dummy ballots, where there's no guarantee that they will be ready on time. And we're also going to talk about that Pandora box that you opened the other day live on Sunday.
All right.
All right.
We're going to just walk. I'm going to walk with it because I'm not going to turn off my live.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to just walk through the studio. It's unfortunate that yesterday GB said, don't worry, man, we are ready for elections. What will happen when the voting bureaus have no power? How will that work when things go sour at that moment? So we in here now, we're back into the studios with the people them. At least GB gave us some light so we can continue the second half in air condition because boy, I was fearing that a little bit.
Yeah, right?
It was a little warm.
Yeah.
But again, like I said, the people them don't fear. Don't believe everything you hear or read because it's typical that we do these games. But in this second half, like Lady Grace said, we're going to be talking about this contract. Monday they were here lying the backside off, but they didn't know the ombudsman had this and the ombudsman had that. We're going to discuss that because I have some of the documents. I got all. The Daily Herald had them. They broke a story, I think it was Monday too, send everybody in a frenzy because all the documents that look like, for example, this, the ombudsman never got. And that is the big problem. So you see, I don't want to lose too much of time in these things because they were already discussed, they're already spoken about. But again, one of the things that you have for every election, like Lady Grace said, was the dummy ballot. And I'm just waiting until Lady Grace is set up.
Right.
So
yeah,
we're
busy with that. So we could still start talking about it. I have my engineer here. The lights are going on, get us up and going. So the dummy ballots we see today, I want to, yes, hi. from the studios. The dummy ballots, MP, where the voting bureau is trying to facilitate the dummy ballots, and there's no guarantee they will be ready in time. How important are the dummy ballots, though?
They're very important, Grace, because remember, they made a bunch of videos of how you should vote. The best way to show somebody how to vote is to show them the ballot, show them where they have to make the dot, and explain it to them and walk with it. Because a lot of people come to the polls, they did not see the videos that were made in Spanish, Dutch, Creole, and English, and they go in there, they write on the ballot, they put a check mark, they're inside and outside of the line, and all these ballots then become invalid votes. I am sure that you will realize that there might be a high count of invalid votes after this election.
But we knew there were elections after the Prime Minister announced that there will be elections on January 11th.
Yes.
Last year. We had enough time to prepare these
Well,
ballots.
on the 22nd of November was postulation.
Right.
Which means they checked the list, and I think it was on the 28th, they confirmed all the list. At that moment, the dummy ballots and the ballots should have started printing.
Correct.
We are talking 10 days in January already, 31 days in December, that's 41 days, and 2 days in November. 43 days, and we still don't have dummy ballots. I don't know what to say. I don't want to talk negative about the Electoral Council or whomever is doing this, but it is extremely unfortunate when you have these type of things happening to an election that everybody is speaking about, because this election has shown that it's not going to be the a la carte, as if, okay, the big boys winning. No, the big boys ain't winning this one. They know that. When you look at show me the money for the posters, when you ask that group, they're running scared. So they're pulling out all the plugs. Anything that they can do to confuse the people, they are doing. Anything that they can do to mislead people, they are doing. Look at this article. This article doesn't say that the Electoral Council said, I can't take my seat, That's why they put that little word, but may
face suspension.
But
post-victory.
So it's clear that it's not so.
Are there other candidates besides yourself who are currently dealing with cases while in office?
I think there's an investigation ongoing with Christopher Emmanuel, they said.
Right.
There's an investigation ongoing with Rolando Bryson. And I'm sure there are a few more investigations that have already started and will culminate with knocking on the door after Election Day. But again, Grace, it's not about that. What it's about is suspending somebody that is following the democratic process. And people can say what they want. I have fought from 2010 when I so-called did something wrong. And the not the Daily Herald, the Today newspaper wrote all kind of things. In May 2022, I was finally acquitted of all charges.
Right.
Of all. 12 years after the fact. Because in 2010, the prosecutors were involved already. But this is the game we play in this country. We drag people through the mud. We use the media to crucify people because we do trial by media. This is here now, again, the media saying, but may. Why don't they just say, he will? Because then I can take up the courts. You see, you play sleazy journalism, I call it. Yellow journalism. I got on a yellow shirt.
Yeah, that's the party color.
This is crazy that you come and write a story like this without a foundation.
What are your supporters saying about all of this, though?
When I spoke to the supporters and I told them, and I'll tell you why this article came out.
Okay.
Because I told them, why would you allow me to run if I can't take my seat? So one day before elections, or suddenly now the Electoral Council said he can't take his seat. That's not true.
But they're not in a position to do that.
Thank you.
They're not in a position
I want you to say it so they can believe it.
Right, they're not in a position to call that. They can't do that.
And that's written there.
Yeah.
And then they go, but in my legal opinion, I didn't ask you that. You can't give it because you're trying then to mislead the public. Because my lawyers have a legal opinion too.
Right.
And in theirs, I can't take my seat. So what is it exactly? Is it fish or fowl? Is one lawyer better than the other lawyer because of which position they're sitting in? Is it now a privilege to be the chair of the Electoral Council so that your opinion is now more than another lawyer's opinion? I don't think so. And I don't think the chair lady did that. But the journalist, the type of journalist that she is, she did this.
Oh, so you know who the journalist is?
I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure she wrote pre-clearance too.
Okay. So this
Look,
is like a personal attack? Is that
not on me. This is a journalist working for another political party.
Oh.
That's all it is.
Oh.
No more, no less. And that's why I said, when journalism, when the media is in the pocket of a political party, so like the political party is in the pocket of the big money boys, you wonder about democracy. They're supposed to be the fourth power. The media is the fourth power because you have the legislators, so the trias politicas.
Yes, right.
The legislators, the government, the judicial, and then that fourth power is the media. But when you are in the pocket of others, you're not a power, you're a puppet. And these type of articles are critical because these type of articles show you that you're not writing the truth. You're writing a wishy-washy story trying to lead to a result that is not a result that should be looked for.
Something that Bob Marley sang about. Yeah.
No, Grace, let me tell you something. I came here today with a lot of different things to talk about. And I get myself, unfortunately, or I find myself, unfortunately, going to explain something because, like it or not, when people read a newspaper, they tend sometimes to believe what's written. And I too agree that when you read things in the newspaper, you should believe them. Because why would a newspaper lie? What's the added value? Well, the Daily Herald does have a record that sensation sells. Had they written, Bancampa will not be suspended, the story was nothing. But he may, and he may not. Or this one say that it may or may not. Listen, it's either he can or he cannot.
Fish or fowl.
Exactly. I am saying I can. The Daily Herald saying they believe that I may face suspension after the fact because somebody gave a personal opinion. Because the Electoral Council says this is not in their purview. And that's why I can hardly swallow the part in there that she gave a personal opinion. That's not the Natalie Tackling I know. That's not the professional I know. And that's why I sent her a WhatsApp asking her, can you please tell me if you said what's written there? Because if you did, that means you stepped out of your book. And I can deal with that separately.
Right.
But I don't believe you stepped out of your book. You're a professional. I've seen you in action.
Correct.
So I am trying to understand why they would write an article like this. I know why. I know they don't want me. They need to find, because remember, the only thing they campaigned on thus far was he can't take his seat. There was nothing else. Because my record outshines all of their accomplishments put on 15 boards together. So that couldn't be it.
Right.
My track record in the community is good. I have served this community for 33 years. I never asked for nothing. I never took nothing. So the one thing you could campaign on is you can't take your seat. Nobody said nothing. Electoral Council never said nothing. One day before elections, bam, front page. He might not be able to take his seat. Please, please.
Right.
You serious? If you were so genuine that I might not this and I might not this, then why didn't you open your mouth a long time ago? Why now, one day before, try to shift
24 hours before
the vote?
Yeah.
because somebody must be scared and somebody tells somebody to write something. That's the only way I see it.
They're distracted. You opened a Pandora box on Sunday. Why was it so important for you to release those documents now?
I didn't have the documents.
Oh, you obtained them?
Grace, they were sent to
They
me.
were sent to you?
Just like how the Daily Herald got them. Others got them.
Right, because it was in the paper, but Monday morning.
The same Monday morning it was
Right.
there. I did my podcast around 2 o'clock. I never mentioned a name.
Right.
And the Daily Herald had all the names of contractors and points and all kind of things.
You know what shocked me yesterday, before you continue, that yesterday I had MP Marlin in here in the studios and I asked him if he read the story in the paper. He said he had no idea what I was talking about. He said because he doesn't read the paper. And I was thrown aback with that, because here I'm speaking to a former prime minister, a legislator, former leader of a party, a member of parliament, that says to me he doesn't read the paper. He doesn't do social media. So where do you get your information from?
I am so happy you just said that. Because, Grace, when a prime minister doesn't believe in the media in his country, then we got a problem. The man is not, and I've always stated it. I have utmost respect for MP Marlin. He has, we are the different political fences, but he has always, like how he says, Marlin was right when they contradict him. Mm-hmm. They wrote him up, they destroyed him. But at the end of the day, it proved that what he said was the truth. And what's going to happen now is I'm going to prove people that what I am saying is the truth. I will not be suspended. I will not be suspended because the law doesn't allow it. The international treaties don't allow it. My mistake the last time was that I accepted the suspension. And the suspension, because we objected, and it took about 6 months before we heard back from Parliament. Mm-hmm. And, had I challenged it at that point in time, gone back in, most probably I'd have mashed up the government. Because the crazy things they were doing, I wouldn't be part of it for sure. So I'd have pulled the support. So I think it was great. Let them fester in the pond that they want to fester in. The results are clear now. They have not accomplished anything. They write a lot of things on their posters, but they didn't. But a man like William Allen can come here and tell you, I don't even read the newspapers. I don't worry.
The social media, right.
It shows you that most of the time, it doesn't jive with reality. Now, again, I am not against social media, but social media is a sensational something. Look at how, what was it, 6 months, 8 months ago? Olivier Arundel came into social media in Samaritan. Look at the rampage, because everybody wanted melee.
Right.
He started off exposing facts. But then he went and he became personal. And that was a problem. Because I don't believe that you have to attack people personally. And again, nothing against the good gentleman. We had our run-in once after a show that he started talking about me, and I have no issue with that. The truth is the truth.
Is he in some way affiliated with the Now Party, though?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
He has no affiliation to the Now Party other than he has endorsed two candidates on the Now Party.
Let's clear that.
We got to be very clear.
Right.
The leader of the Now political party is Christophe Emmanuel. I'm the deputy leader, Claudius Boncampo. We make the political calls.
So Olivier Arundel is no part of
absolutely
the party whatsoever. No. Just that he has endorsed two parties, but he's supporting the party as a matter of fact.
Yes, and anybody can. Right, if you want to support a party tomorrow, if the Daily Herald wants to support a party tomorrow, I can't tell them no. That's your civic right to support whomever you want and vote for whomever you want.
Right.
But to send and say, I will be this and I will be that. No. The party has a board. And the party board is headed by Malaika Hickinson, with Nicole James, Christina Lake, and Sasha Boncampo. Those four ladies are our board. So when we start to discuss, when we win, and we start to discuss who will be our minister, etc., That is based on board recommendations. Naturally, the political leader and the deputy leader who are politically involved will give an opinion on such. And the reason we will give an opinion on such is very simple. You always have to look at what it means politically for the party, politically for the country, politically for the coalition. You always, you have to weigh off, because whomever you join with to govern, we must have in our governing program some critical points from our manifesto.
Correct.
That's how governments run. It isn't that you have a government that the manifesto belongs to those that give you money, because that's what's going on. When you see parties bringing in artists, putting up big billboards, those are the parties that are mostly in problems. They have lost a disconnect with their voters.
Could you repeat that? So the parties that are putting up the billboard.
When you see parties go overboard with billboards,
spending and stuff
I
like
mean, last night it was supposed to have a busy signal or something, but the signal didn't come.
The signal
And
didn't register.
he didn't. He missed his flight or something. The flight did land at 7:02. But he was done it. So was he paid? Was he not paid? I don't know. And some of those parties, they put out these posters to bring people and then say sorry. That's one of the marketing skills I've seen in some big shows in the village, and then they don't show up. But people, they are ready. So they can say, well, let me just sit down and listen.
Yeah, we've seen that over the years with elections also, that we used to fly artists to come and perform.
I can remember they even said once Shakira was coming,
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
So again, Grace, these are the type of things that I always say. When you see those things happening, it is a popularity contest. It becomes a fanfare. And I said it last time. I said, if you want to use artists, use your local artists. That's why I like how USRM, I think they had King James.
Right.
And
they kept it local last night.
Even the up, I think they were using Kenyo. So I support that.
Right.
But when you start bringing in foreign artists, paying them big money, but you professing the orange economy, and you're professing you're going to take care of your vendors and your artists, but you're not doing it, you're not showing it, because you're doing just the opposite. We, as of now, we were very low-key on posters. Two reasons. One, we had to pay for everything ourselves.
Right.
We didn't take the money from the big businesses.
Okay.
One business gave us a donation, and after that we stopped it. I just want to be transparent and clear. $8,000. That was the donation.
Okay.
No more. Nobody else.
Wow.
We took money from.
Right.
We ran a campaign that was genuine on us. You don't see 50 billboards for a candidate out there. You don't. Because 50 billboards is nearly $50,000 when you put plywood and everything together. You owe $50,000 in favors, They ain't giving it to you for free. They don't like you that much. Don't fool yourself. I've been around politics for a long, long, long time. And I know how this works. So I told them, let's try to do food baskets. Get food to people. Not only in a meet and greet, but go to their homes for Christmas. Go to their homes next week. Elections tomorrow.
Right.
Let me see who going on the 12th to bring food for people. Because you can't find them. The phones are going to be disconnected. The chips are going to be thrown away. And when they're driving, the windows going to be up, and the air is going to be blasting. Because that's how it was for the past 4 years. They didn't know you. I think somebody said it. Every time they see you, they pick up the phone, like they're on the phone. Please. One thing, you ask anybody, you call me, I didn't answer, you're calling you back. I will call you back. I am your ear. For the past 2 years while I was suspended, I did more outside of Parliament than they did in Parliament. I informed this country better than they did. But this time around, I'm staying inside. I will be there. So I found it unfortunate, but I understand the political strategy. Use people to say people might have said this. He might be this, but I ain't sure. So what I want to do is, let me confuse the voter. Because I can't convince him that he can't take his seat. I can't convince him. I can't convince them that. Because it's not their call to make.
Right.
So he might be, but buying sure. So, take care of your vote. No. Vote for Bancampo. Vote for me. I am taking my seat. I can tell you with confidence, I am taking it. They said when I get elected, it's only after I take the oath, they're going to see what's happening. But it is not their purview to decide that. It's not even Parliament's purview to decide it. It's the Constitution. The same Constitution that the present leader of government in Parliament, Mr. Bryson, MP Bryson, said is dead wrong. It ain't no good. It got to change.
Right.
That same one we're talking about that we're going to use to punish people that were elected by the people of this country. But you're not running a country, you're running a banana republic. That's why you're running then. Because you all are saying it yourself. But you try to hide behind that same thing. I mean, it's either fish or fowl.
Right.
And this is the problem. You see, and that's why I'm a little disappointed. Not surprised, but disappointed.
Right.
Because I was wondering when it was coming.
Yeah, you don't want to wake up to this kind of news, especially on the day before elections either.
Grace, when I get knocked down, let's get up. And verdict and appeal. Even the people said it is a joke with what's happening. But, like I said, I'm having a little broadcast.
I was asking if the AM was up because had I known that we could have gone live on the AM.
Yeah, but
But
okay.
yeah, majority of my listeners are on the FM anyhow, so
Yeah.
I believe the stream, the line,
it looks like it's on. Can somebody give me a thumbs up if we are still on? I'm just trying to figure that one out.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, Grace, look.
You said that you wanted to actually reach to the seniors, but you know what, MP, you'll be surprised how much of them are on social media. Huh?
Grace, it is one of the groups that I have advocated for the past 4 years. And I really thought, we will make a difference. This government is going to do something for the seniors. Look, I know you can't change everything overnight, but we could have changed the aspect of, for example, the taxation on seniors. Why do we have to keep taxing seniors? It isn't the population you're taxing the people that built this country.
Right.
These people are fighting. You read the country census, people go to sleep hungry, seniors, so that they can give their grandchildren or their, something to eat. And I'm saying, my God, you have no understanding? This is unfortunate, but it is what it is, Grace. It really is what it is. And as the now gets in, one of the first things we are going to touch is this tax reform when it comes to taxation of seniors.
We left off with that last time. Let's talk about the tax reform.
Grace, we said in our program that there are a few things we want done. We have a few pointers, and one of them was, for example, preclearance, dollarization, seceding from the central bank, the Ministry of Agriculture, tax reform, seniors. Now, the tax reform, we said we need to make money. We need to drop the burden of taxation on the handful that is being taxed and spread it across all that are making use of St. Martin to make money. Look, if you're not making use of St. Martin to make money, you don't need to pay taxes. But if you are making use of St. Martin to make money, you should pay your fair share.
Right.
That's what we are saying. And we said, let's look around, let's see what else in St. Martin can be taxed. And there are different things. The condo tax, for example, the flyover tax, the ship registry, we will have to take some time with that because we have to get good clearance in Holland on how we're going to do it. Because it's not a 1, 2, 3 something. But we said, what about an import duty? An import duty that goes hand in hand with the French side. Because that would mean that if we import it on the Dutch side, the same levies that we have at the port or at the airport will be at Esperance or in Gallows Bay.
Okay.
So everybody on the same plane, on the same fair footing.
Yeah, right.
We said, let's get rid of the turnover tax altogether. If that cannot pan out, and you have to end up at 1% or 2%.
Where we started, actually.
Where we started back in 1995, I'm saying, then let's do that. Because turnover tax is a very aggressive tax. You keep paying every time it's sold, you pay. And I'm saying, let's look at that, let's see what we can do there. But there's also because everybody's saying, yeah, when you dollarize, you're going to lose the 1% foreign exchange tax. And I'm saying, yes. You lose that 25 million guilders. But if we do a transaction tax and 11 billion is going through your country in the banks, that alone tells you you're talking about 50, 60 million versus 25 million. And you don't need a top heavy 70 million guilders central bank a year to do that.
Right.
We pay 22 or 26% of that 70 million. We pay that as country St. Martin. To say we have Antillean Guilder to now become a Caribbean Guilder.
Right. How much is that going to cost us?
To introduce it, 15 to 20 million. And remember, they were coming this year.
Are we talking guilders here?
Yeah. They were coming, that's to print it.
Just to print
That's
it.
just to print it.
Right.
They were coming here with it in June of this year. Suddenly now it's March of next year. They want to apologize. They've just simply put that out. They didn't even talk to St. Martin. They must have talked most probably to the shareholder, the Minister of Finance. But this Caribbean Guilder, this law, because you're changing the law, you're changing the currency law, needs approval of the Parliament of St. Martin. Didn't even reach there. But it was already in the newspaper telling you what happening in your own country, but you didn't decide.
But actually, you know, MP, I did have members of the central bank here in the studios with me last year, and they were actually targeting March 2024 also.
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, the thing is this. It's just like...
They're trying to rush it?
It's just like this year with the civil servants that they're going to give them raise and all those things. But where's the law? Minimum wage, where's the law? Saha, healthcare, where's the law? There is no law. We have no law. Yet, we're telling people there's pie in the sky, let's eat it. No, you can't reach it. So this is the problem. They gave out taxi licenses, bus licenses, and told the people, you will have health care come January 1st. They cannot register by SFV because there is no change in law. And these are the things, Grace. Because Ban Camper is brave and wise enough to come out and talk about it, that you get this stupidity in the newspaper. That some journalist is paid to write nonsense. Because they can't see it no other way.
Right.
And I am going to become harsh about some things. And I'm going to just say what I think. And if they feel it is so, they know where the courthouse be.
Okay.
Take me to courts.
Right.
And then we go see who said what and who do what. Because that's the bottom line.
Yeah. There's a lot of jabs jabs flying. It's not like we're in a boxing match right now.
But no problem with that, Grace.
Right.
Grace,
all the parties are actually doing
politics, you're always throwing political jabs. I don't have a problem. But when the media gets involved to try to guide an election a certain direction, we got a problem. We got a serious problem.
Will the National Alliance will you be willing to sit at the table to negotiate the formation of government with the National Alliance?
Why not? Again, Grace, it's not. Again, people
Thank you for saying that.
believe that because I ransacked the Prime Minister, I ransacked Duran, that I have a problem with them personally. No, I don't. You know, if they have a problem with me personally, that's their problem.
Right.
I am dealing with the people's business. That's what I am running for office. I ain't running a popularity contest. That they were called out by other people. And they had to end up going to courts and all that. That's not for me. No, has nothing to do with Olivier Arundel. Nothing at all with those type of things. I want to be clear on it.
Right.
Olivier has his opinions and he's endorsing his candidates. God bless
He's
him.
entitled to.
That exactly. That's his God-given right. I have seen people endorse candidates that you look around the corner and say, really? Really?
Right.
But again, that's their God-given right. But the Now Party, there's one leader, Christophe Emmanuel. Nobody else. That's the leader. He speaks on behalf of this party. I just want to clarify that piece. And that's what I'm saying. I don't have an issue with no party. I might be a little more apprehensive to certain parties because I can't always believe what you're telling me or what you're saying. But we in the political arena right now.
Yeah.
It's campaign time, so you're going to lie your backside off to try to get sympathy or get votes. I understand. And if people are gullible enough to fall for it, I mean, when I was on stage, I addressed them as the National Alliance of Liars. And the reason I did so is because of the amount of lies and untruths. And I just showed you another one here. This was one. This is a lie. The Saha is a hoax. You know, and please, it's not that I see you open a page and I start to laugh.
Yeah, because
the drawing of the...
And this is something that pops up every time during an election.
Thank you. This, I know this drawing.
You what?
Listen, the upgrading of the John Lamini Center is on the shelves by New Works in Vromi. Has been there for a while. We were going 2 stories and all kind of things.
When you were...
When I was there 4 years ago, it was there. It has been used before, you know.
Oh, so this is taken out of the vault?
Out of the Drano clogged pipeline.
Oh my gosh.
Because all they're doing is throwing out things now. To say, look what we planned. But you had 4 years. Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you have the discussions? Since you know you say you're getting 60 million, why didn't you have the terms of reference made up and tendered? So as soon as you get the money, you hit the ground running. But no, we don't do that. We come and throw it out a day before elections. Oh, we're going to do this. We planning. You can remember the last election? I'm going to build 1,000 houses. You won't build one yet. Not one was built yet. But that was the cry in the last election.
You've accused the minister actually of nepotism also.
I mean, for God's sakes, I didn't say it. The newspaper. I saw things running around, but who gave land to who and who do this and who do that.
Accomplishments, actually, you also stated some of the accomplishments.
They're NRPB. They're NRPB accomplishments. They're not his.
Which are they?
The towers in Belvedere. He said...
I was aware that when he mentioned, though, you know, that when he mentioned that that he was responsible for the cleanup of the lagoon, and I told him,
absolutely not.
No, that was
14 or 16 million. Yes.
Here in the studio to tell us about it, because where he actually, I remember Mr. Connor actually indicating, the rector at the NRPB told me that they were actually sunken vessels dating back to 1995.
That is correct.
Shocked.
That is correct.
There
were, I think, 3 of them. Because, remember, I was very vocal about it because the Oyster Pond lagoon was not cleaned up because they said there was a territorial dispute. And because there was a territorial dispute, they were not going to work there, and they never cleaned up there.
Right.
So they only cleaned up, and they did, so besides moving the ships, they also did a whole cleaning of the parameters of the lagoon. And after that, the French side brought in the same team to clean up on the French side. So
I think there was a group that actually came in after that to plant the mangroves.
That is correct.
I was following.
But again, that was the NRPB that did that. The next thing they're going to tell you that, for example, they fixed the schools. They did not fix the schools. The NRPB is fixing the schools. I can recall Samuel in the media ripping asunder the NRPB. Why are you taking so long? And he just went in there, and now we have 7 tenders out. But elections is tomorrow. Well, the Beatles College still ain't finished. Vocational still ain't finished.
Is the Oranje school finished?
On paper. On paper.
Meaning?
Meaning that they did the emergency pieces, the mold remediation, the roof, and the air conditions. And to put the air conditions, they had to upgrade the electrical system. But there's a lot more work to be done there. So again, Charles Leopold Bell was cleaned 2 days ago and yesterday because it's a polling station.
Oh, yes,
Otherwise,
yes,
it
yes.
would remain the jungle. It was a monumental building in Samantha.
Yeah.
But we speak about culture and heritage. Clowns. This is crazy. But you see, Grace, I am brave enough to come out and expose this nonsense. That's why you get an article like you see on the front page.
Right.
When a journalist, through a newspaper, tries to manipulate the outcome of an election. But the people of Samantha know better. They're going to vote for me. They're going to elect me. They're going to put me in office. And then, if they want to try, we're going to be in courts to show them it ain't going to happen again. Not this time around. Because the Electoral Council didn't say, I can't take my seat. The Electoral Council said it's not our purview to decide such. Yet, you want to say,
Candidates with criminal records are eligible for election but may face suspension post-victory.
why? Why say that if you can't prove that?
Right.
Sensation. One word, sensation.
And it doesn't only apply to you because there are other candidates like we mentioned, yourself and the leader of the party, also I think MP Bryson.
You remember he was picked up and he has a case pending.
Right.
There are others that are being investigated. We all know there were 4 investigations running right now. We have heard that already. But you know, Grace, what bothers me is that you put out a story that has no substance. It is not in the purview of the Daily Herald to say that, because they should actually change their name to the Daily Sensation, because that's what it is, sensation. And I understand sensation
Something like
sells
Inquirer?
newspaper. Yes, sensation sells newspaper, but this is not sensation. You are trying to mislead people to them. He might be, so don't vote for him, basically. Because that's what they're trying to accomplish here. But if I have to spend all day today until somebody answers me and gives me the story, then I'm going to do that. Because nobody wants to answer. No, everybody got mute now.
There are 1,207 voting cards at the civil registry.
But we only
picked
given
up
out
today.
today and tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah.
why? Tomorrow gonna be a madhouse there. People ain't gonna get their voting cards and then they can't vote. Why are you closing at 6 o'clock when the polls close at 8 o'clock? You know, let's be honest. And again, no pun intended, but it makes no sense.
Someone finishes work at 6. How does he or she?
They want to go pick up their card and go and vote. They're not getting
On their
it.
way home.
They're not getting it. And they're going to say, yeah, but you have 4 hours. We all know how it works here.
Is it still 4 hours?
It is 4 hours.
Yeah,
They
okay.
said it's 4 hours. The businesses must give their employees.
All right, good.
You got 4 or 5 ships in. Nobody can give them, nobody not, you know. They're making sales on Front Street.
Yeah, I think they got 5 ships in tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to be careful.
And
Not only the traffic.
People who are coming from the Kupakoi Maho area.
Put yourself in the position of the police. Put yourself in the position of the police that has to deal with an election, has to be very vigilant at every poll,
Yes.
and you can bring in 80 undercover extra police. Listen, please. We have a very unfortunate day tomorrow. A day where I ask the people, go out and vote early. Don't get caught in the traffic and then you get frustrated.
Right.
You turn around and you go back home because that's what they want. Because their people will come out to vote.
We had a similar situation like that 4 years ago, I believe, at some of the polling stations where they're on the verge of closing and they had people outside who were still waiting to get in to vote. And they were trying to actually prevent that prevent them from voting.
And again, the law says
This is messed up.
if you are there, the polling station, close it. It didn't say the voting stops.
Right.
The polling station closed.
Closed.
So the police officer closed the gate.
Right.
Nobody else gets in.
Yeah.
Only out.
Okay.
So
if
they do that, it ain't a problem. Everybody should just say, listen, I come to vote, I'll stand up on the side there and wait. But I want to be inside the gate.
Right.
I know they had a problem with Belvedere the last time around.
Right.
That was one of them.
Right. That was the last
And I'm saying again, let's make sure that the rules are very clear, that all the officers that are placed at polls understand what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Right.
Because again, we're allowed
We have all the
The-
time in the world
the-
today because tomorrow's election, so you got to
Yeah.
take this time, and of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So,
have,
go
you
ahead.
have, you have. For example, they said curtains are down. Okay, but are there any other rules? Are they going to stop somebody that walks in there and say, "I'm going to take a picture of my ballot"? Can they stop him legally?
Wow.
They cannot stop him legally.
But that was never a rule that was enforced either.
But it is not a rule. Again, they removed the curtains because they wanted to ensure that what happened the last election doesn't happen this time around.
Transparency, basically.
Transparency is one thing.
Right.
They
But-
were putting ballots into the ballot box and going with it. So they come with one dummy ballot.
Right.
This is the understanding of the Bulgarian train.
Yeah, that's why. Yes, I know about it, the Bulgarian trade.
Good.
Right.
You come with a pre-marked ballot in your pocket. You throw that in,
Right.
and
You fold the
you-
one that you actually.
because you're behind the curtain, nobody's seeing
Right,
anything.
but that's
So they're
really hard to
moving
do
the
now.
curtain now. Well, again, if I can see you from where I am sitting, I have a problem with privacy because you are seeing if I'm voting to the right or to the left. Am I voting for the now, the DP, the up, the NA?
Okay, if I'm going
I
to the
can
center,
see
right.
where you are voting because the voting card, the voting paper is a
Yeah.
huge paper.
Right.
It's 8 parties. Look,
Yeah,
this
it
here
is.
is a big ballot. That means it is more, even my body width, it gonna pass. That means if I go to the left party, so again, what I'm saying, these type of things are clearly not giving you the privacy you deserve.
So removing of curtain, in your opinion, wasn't such a great idea.
I wouldn't say it wasn't such a great idea. I'm saying we gotta be a little cautious.
Right.
Because at this point in time, privacy of a vote is now through the window. So if that is the case, then I can just as well take my picture of my ballot and put it on Facebook and say, this is what I voted. I am going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to go and vote and take a picture of my vote. I want to see them tell me I can't do it. I want them to show me the law that I can't do it. Because there is none. And all these last minute laws, no, the laws are there before postulation.
So you're actually MP saying that people who actually go out tomorrow to vote, they should not be stopped if they want to take a picture of who they voted for.
Exactly. That's their God-given right. It's a selfies. In Holland, there was a verdict on it in 2014. You see,
I think
it enhances, this enhances vote buying. But again, I'm saying, since we're playing with laws, we write in all kind of stories, write that too, no? Write that story too. But now we don't write. Why? You see, this is the problem, Grace. You want to play with Bancampa? Bancampa can play with you too. Because the law doesn't say that. The law doesn't say I'll leave your bag by the voting bureau. Because if I come back and I say I'm missing $1,000, who gonna say no?
Right.
I put my bag. You tell me put my bag there.
Right, right.
You see,
Understood,
you're
understood.
opening Pandora's box.
Yeah. Setting people up for
For confusion down the road.
Yeah,
And I'm saying this, that they move the curtains, I wholeheartedly understand that. If there was digital voting, no, that you reach, you punch in your code, and only you seen it, and you punch in your number, nothing wrong.
But see what happened to us this morning. Digital voting.
That'd be another disaster.
Well, because
They'd have to put a
it's a
generator. They'd have to put a generator by each
Yeah.
location. They'd have to put a generator by each location to ensure that that type of voting
Power stays on.
stays.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, but even then you gotta be careful because nowadays that has come true. If it's a cloud-based program or whatever, people start to do strange things. Look, what I'm saying is this, and I don't want to create confusion.
Right.
I hope that tomorrow it's a fair election, but we all know how it works. The Bulgarian train will not take off, but I need to see it because I'm going to.
You feel it's not going to take off?
The Bulgarian train with
Right.
ballots? Why you think they're
But-
making dummy ballots?
Right.
Why you think
they're withholding them?
That's because
of
they're
that.
trying to block it. They got to
Yeah.
come
Let's
out
be honest.
and say the damn truth.
Right.
I hate liars. I hate them.
Trying to circumvent the vote buying.
Listen, and I understand that, but don't let party affiliation cloud judgment. Because that's what's happening. Party affiliation is clouding judgments now. And I have a problem with that. Because the independency is now being questioned. How independent are those that are making decisions really? You know, you write an article like this, I question the independency and the integrity of the newspaper. And they say, yeah, because it's about you, that way you get none. No, it's not about me. It didn't say Claudius Boncamper can't take his seat. You see, others run commercials about this, but they don't mention your name because they know the minute they mention your name, their backside is grass because we go into courts.
Right.
So they come with these wishy-washy stories, these sleazy, this is sleazy journalism. Say Claudius Boncamper can't take his seat. Say that.
Okay.
I challenge you to say that. Let me see how much money I can get from you.
Wow.
Because I'll take you to courts.
Okay.
Because it's not you to say that. And the Constitution is flawed. Parliament agreed to that already. So please tell me,
Yeah.
I ain't going to take my seat. You all set of clowns. I am taking my seat. I am taking my seat. We'll have a court case to tell me I can't do it. And then I want the judge to tell me that all those international treaties, you can shove them where the sun don't shine because we don't want you in Parliament.
Yeah,
Please,
that's
man,
it.
please. You know,
Yeah.
my thing is this. It's a joke to write an article like this 24 hours before elections. I wouldn't even say 24 because we last 21 hours and 40 minutes.
The voting booths open at 8
8 a.m.
Polling stations open,
Open
at
at
8 o'clock tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
And you want people to go out.
Naturally,
You want people to go out and vote because
all my voters come out. I am telling you, this.
understand, explain them the importance of coming out to vote because we have to do this with every
Yes.
election, but now this is more.
This election, you know, like this is the mother of all elections.
No, this one
This
is.
election
This one
is so important because we have a few things. This country is in a dire state. We need a change now, not tomorrow. No, we need a change. And that means you have to elect people in government or to government, to parliament, that are not only capable, but can do the work. Because we have some of them putting up posters on a container. Never said a word in parliament. This is a joke. This is a joke. But these are the people that we talking about.
action, not words.
Action, not words. I ain't know which actions, but okay.
But words, your word is basically action.
The problem is this. In Parliament, we
Because
do
you get action, you
legislation.
gotta speak.
We do legislation.
Right.
We don't go out there building things. Not in Parliament. That's what government does. We appoint those people. We don't elect those people. Ministers are not elected. They're
Right.
appointed. We are going to the polls tomorrow to hopefully vote in the 15 best people we have on a list, a group of 129. That's why it's so important that you go and vote. Come out, vote. We have 21 candidates in the now, and we have in my opinion, they can all be parliamentarians. Some need more grooming than others, but they all can. All I'm saying is don't be distracted by fake news. Don't be distracted by media that is trying to try me. They now suddenly are telling people that I may not be able to take my seats. They're not saying I can't take my seat.
Go for them, Banks.
I may not take my seat. But if you were so sure that I can't take my seat, but then write it. Then write it. Because you are lying. You are lying. You are misleading the public of St. Martin. So you see, I hope that I have clarified as good as I can my position. There are so many things. I will be at 11 o'clock. on my 88.3. I hope they get current back now.
They probably came back at the same time
Okay.
with us. Yeah.
And then I will continue discussing the various plans we have. It is unfortunate that I had to spend my time with Grace on Facebook
You'll be
this
surprised how
morning
much viewers you're gonna get with this.
because GB did not have power in the Phillipsburg area. I understood 3 radio stations were out.
Yeah.
You know, one day before. I hope tomorrow that the polling stations have power at all times. I implore on the Electoral Council to make sure they have backup generators at all polling stations so that
Good point,
at
good
night,
point.
if at 6 o'clock the current go out, then nobody don't rush the polling station to pick up a ballot box and all kind of stupidness. So please, I implore of all you, put generators in place so that we don't have no Nancy story tomorrow but votes gone missing. Because the no come to win. And the amount of things that I have seen happen time after time after time with elections, I just want to be sure that this is prevented. Since we can give all kind of interviews about all kind of other things, just do the one interview now and tell them how you're going to ensure that tomorrow there's power at all the voting polls. Because it gets warm, that's one thing. But at night, and we go until 8 o'clock at night, and by 6 o'clock it's getting dark already. By 7 o'clock it's completely dark, and by 8 o'clock it's midnight. And if there's no current, because they are load shedding for whatever reason, then we need to ensure, because remember, it was yesterday that the temporary manager of GB said, all is fixed, we good to go. Bam, this morning we done again. And right now, Colby is out. So it shows you, yeah, Colby had no power either, sorry. So again, you know, we got to be careful. We really got to be careful. Because in this day and age, I put nothing past nobody anymore.
It's gonna happen
I
tomorrow.
put nothing past nobody anymore.
Can't afford this tomorrow. No way.
But once again, you know, Grace, I gotta get ready to go to the
you
other
got
poll.
you got your
I have
next
another interview. I want to thank you, Grace, for being on Facebook with me.
First time, yeah. Let's not make it the last time either.
No.
Really look
we're
forward.
gonna have some more of these.
Yeah. Hi, all you followers of Bun Camper. He's number 2. He's the candidate number 2 on the Now Party slate. And if you're going to go out to vote tomorrow, not if you, when you go out to vote tomorrow, consider voting for him. He's a very strong, ambitious guy. He's working for the people. I know he got a big mouth, but yeah, he actually will come with results for you if you go out and vote for him. I'm basically like endorsing you here this morning on your Facebook page.
Thank you.
But on another note though, because that was a serious note there, but on another note though, I want the entire population of St. Martin, if you have a voting card, to use your democratic right and go out and vote. For those of you who probably haven't had your card yet, go and collect your card at voting bureau, at the census office. I think you can retrieve your card anytime between 8:30 a.m. and I believe it's until 6 p.m. I'm not sure about the time, but they're open there from 8:30 a.m. If you have a lunch break, go and get your card, walk with your ID. If you don't have one, I think they can provide you with one, but there was some discrepancy about getting your ID card too. But nevertheless though, don't let anything deter you from voting. That is your voice. So make good use of it tomorrow. Whether you want to vote for Bun Camper, you want to vote for National Alliance, you want to vote for the DP, whichever party, the UP, whichever party out there, whichever party that you feel can represent you in Parliament, go out. Party candidate, no matter how you want to look at it, go out and vote. I'm strongly urging everybody to go out and vote. And thanks again for viewing us here in the Breakfast Lounge this morning on this Facebook page. Thank you very, very much. MP on camera, I want to thank you also for sharing your page with me this morning.
Gladly done, Grace. It was a different experience today. But like I said, we're going to deal with the matters that we have to deal with. I have a day against me, a long day ahead of me for sure.
Which polling station are you going to be at?
I am at 16 at the Mac School in St. John's.
Oh, okay.
Trying to clean house over there for sure.
Yeah.
I think I have good support, Grace, and I know that's what the media understood. that Bancampa is doing well out there in their polls that they are keeping.
Okay.
And
We
naturally,
didn't have a poll.
yeah, there
Well,
were
what
some
was the-
polls. There were some polls that were being generically done on
WhatsApp,
on Facebook. I think
they had
on
one on Facebook. I
on
think they had
WhatsApp.
one
It's WhatsApp that
Yeah.
I saw one too. I saw, but that was just party. Party, but those didn't even have 500 to 1,000 people. You know, so out of a 22,000 thing, you know, it doesn't really marginalize and show exactly
Right.
because you can have 100 people of yours go and say we voted now, but it doesn't really translate in the election results.
Exactly.
It's not really a clear poll. But I have been talking to my people for the past 2 years since out of Parliament. Before that 2 years in Parliament, I have shown my track record. I will be putting out my message later to vote,
Right.
and I am standing on my message. The Electoral Council allowed me to run because they knew that I can't get suspended. To come with this wishy-washy story now, saying he may face post-election consequences, at least I'm happy that the Daily Herald has realized I am being elected.
Okay. They acknowledge that.
They acknowledge that I am being elected. So they want to scare off the people by telling them, but he might face consequences, you know, so don't elect him.
Vote for him, but careful.
You understand? So, again, Grace, it is how you want to interpret the reading.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's clear. Very, very clear. Bancampa is going to get elected, and Bancampa is going to take his seat. And there's nobody in the Electoral Council or at the Daily Herald can change that. Nobody. So people, Bunks is out. Thank you all.
Vote. Go out and vote tomorrow.
Vote for Bunks. Vote
Yes,
for Bunks.
there you go. There
The
you go.
number 2 on the now party slate. Take care. One love.